Hey guys, it's Corey here from Overnight Software Developers, and I just thought I'd demo this freight rate calculator for it's mainly for uh, trucking companies that are trying to calculate their either their full truckload or their LTL truckload rates quickly, and you can visualize it on the map, and also at the same time just try to get the rates done. In a quick manner. It takes a lot of work for dispatchers to kind of calculate out freight rates. Um, a lot of the factors that are involved, like involve multiple mathematical calculations, and then you need a visual as well. So I thought I'd just combine them all into this software, so you have a visual, and so you can see where the freight picks up, see if it's out of the way, see if it's worth it, see how you can figure out a way to make your calculations faster, and and do your job easier. So basically, it works basically almost anywhere there, but basically you got America and Canada. We're based out of Toronto, so I've centered it on Toronto. And so basically, like how it works is you can put it in an origin city or a destination city, and it'll give you one route. But if you're trying to work with LTL freight, let's say you got a list of routes that are off the board, and you're just trying to like input them all at once quickly into a map so you can see how they look. So you basically just copy out your routes. You got like Toronto to New York, Toronto to Boston, Hamilton to Albany, London to Springfield. There's Kitchener to Syracuse and so on. So you just basically copy and paste and then hit add bulk routes. So basically what it does is it draws out all the routes on the map. The green dots are where your origin is, and your red dots are where your destination is. So if you're trying to do LTL towards New York from Toronto, which is a very popular lane, um, you can basically just look at the map and you can see where the overlaps are, how far out of the way some of the destinations are, or the pickup locations are, and just try to figure out how to coordinate them all so that they all work in conjunction, and you can probably figure out your calculations faster. So basically, what we did is we populated all of the routes and color coded them all. So each one has a color coding, so you can look in the table here and you can try and find the color coding. So this one looks like it went Toronto to New York City, this one right here, and that's correct. And you can see the red one over here, it's a darker red, I think. So that one goes to New Bedford, so you can just look for the red ones on New Bedford's right here, and so on. And so basically what we've done is we've calculated out the miles for each location. We put a minimum rate on the freight, so $500 regardless of where it goes, and we've got a minimum rate per mile as well. So we put $2 per mile for a minimum rate, and then we calculated out a full truckload rate. So here's where your rates are. Is right here. So your full truckload rate would be $942 right there. So that would be, how you would calculate $2 a mile times 471 and get you to 942. Okay. Now the trick is when you get to LTL freight, it gets challenging. So how do you calculate out LTL freight? Well, we got this calculator here where you put in inputs, and it basically works off of three inputs. Okay, so whichever the three is greatest is how it works, because a lot of people when they're doing their calculations, they might figure out that the pallets are actually 20 feet long, and they take up a third of the space on your trailer or whatever, and so you need to calculate based on feet of the trailer as well. So whichever the three is greatest there, whether it's pounds, feet, or how many pallets and so on. So if we put in, let's say, 13 pallets, and we're only going to take up, I don't know, let's say for 13 pallets, that's half the trailer. Let's say that we're going to take up 40 feet of trailer. So that'll be greater than the 13, I believe. And because you got to take 13 times divided by 2, so it's probably about 6-7 rows, and then times that by 4. 7 times 4 is somewhere around what is that, 30, 28? Yeah, 28. And then you got how many pounds. So let's say the poundage. Let's say the poundage is the most actually there. So you got So this is the smallest, this is the second largest, and then we'll make poundage 48,000 pounds. Okay, because that's generally the standard for a dry van trailer. So basically, we're calculating out, and we got 942, which is actually tied up to full truckload rate. So if we go back again, and you want to change it down to, let's say that we're down around 15,000 pounds. Okay, that number should change or come close. If 40 feet is like close to the maximum footage of a trailer, we just end up classifying it as full truckload regardless. So this one actually does, it's not hitting that limit. So there was a drop in price. So that's basically how we do this all the way down. You can just put in your inputs, and yeah, that's it's do that down the list until you get them all. And then you got your whole table here. You can basically export it. You can undock your table, and then list it out like this so you can see it, and then just go through the inputs and start putting in stuff. Like how many pounds, 10,000 pounds or whatever. There, that's all we know. Or if we need pallets, a lot of people just work off pallets, and there'll be like 12 pallets here, and so on, and 10 pallets there, and you can see the pricing is coming out exactly the way you probably would like it. And you can set these rates and so on there in the settings, so that you can change this $2 a mile. But I've set it for $2 a mile. But if you want to, see, I redocked it back into the browser here. But if you want to change your rates, you can go to the freight rate calculator here, and just decide how you want to charge for your minimum rate. So your minimum rates here are $2 per mile. And you can say, hey, well, Yukon is way up there in the middle of nowhere. I want $6 per mile or whatever, $14 or $10 or $8, whatever. And you can save that. And then that way, you're already set for each state that you're going to, what rate you want to do. And it's really nicely done. You just save your rates. And then that way, when you're doing your calculations, you don't have to sit there and struggle. Well, how do I calculate out rate that's going to the middle of nowhere or where I never go? You got it all right there. So, yeah, that's basically how it works. If you have interest in this being on your website or being part of your operations, just let me know, and we can definitely try to set up or custom tailor this towards your needs. This is obviously a demo and a prototype, so it's not fully completed, but it's a start to something that I believe that shouldn't be hard for us to get any trucking company to get their operations optimized, for their dispatching purposes. So I hope you like, share, and subscribe my video here. We're just a new startup, and it's Overnight Software Developers. Talk to you later.